The following phrase after that one is the same one but in minor. The same 4 measure idea on a 6th chord. But suddenly the same idea again, but this time in the dominant of 6 for 2 measures and then suddenly back. Almost as if it's foreshadowing that it's going somewhere else. Driving away from 6 to the dominant of it, we come to another 5/4 measure, but this time treating beat 5 as a rest, establishing the dominant, letting you take it in for a split second, that of the characteristic of a medio caesura in classical music, hinting again that it's going somewhere else. Following that, the melody seems to have returned to the same motivic idea that we were introduced to at the beginning. We are back in 1, still getting that little bit of counterpoint where the upbeats of the 1st measure are outlining the root and the 5th. But as you can clearly see, it's much more active than before. So for now, let's call this idea A prime. A new idea, something different. Without me poorly editing, this is the actual score. We have the lead guitar on top and the rhythm guitar on the bottom. It appears the rhythm guitar has taken over the melody while the lead is taking the harmony. At the same time, it's also adding some percussive sounds by deadening the sound of the strings, giving it that bit of percussive feel. As you can see, these are still simple 4-measure ideas, nothing too crazy. Let's skip a little bit further into the piece. We have here some polymeter. We have 3 measures of 3/4, and the 4th measure is in 7/8. This continuously happens for some time. A bit interesting, looking at it, one would think, why not put it in 6/8? The groupings of the notes look like they would fit that much better. My guess would be for that upbeat, syncopated feel. It makes quite a difference. Here, both guitars are actually in unison, octaves apart. The question is, if both guitars are octaves apart, how do you get the harmony? Looking at it closely, it's actually outlining the chord, D for that matter, playing the root, 2nd, and 4th. Playing the 3rd all the time gets a little boring. Maybe that's why they chose to leave it out. Without much else, it would be safe to assume that they're playing 5. Following that, we have what I like to call very literal stretching and adding. As you can see in the time signatures, we have 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 5/4, 4/4. Really stretching out those arpeggios and melodic idea as much as possible. After revisiting some familiar ground of music, from the previous slide we reach a new key, A minor. It happens so fast. A quick harmonic analysis of the 2 measures before the new key, we have 4, 5, 6, and 7 diminished of 2. As far as closely related keys, we have 4, 5, and the relative minor of 6. In jazz, it's actually very common to use substitution chords. I refer to this as a substitution key. A minor being the relative minor of C, taking the place of 4. In basic pop genre, we always hear the phrase it's always the same 4 chords. But not likely with metal. What I like about metal is that, as far as to my knowledge, it's the only popular genre in music where people get overly excited over virtuosity. Where else do you see people hit each other just because that guitar played a really cool riff? We keep getting new ideas, and they seem to be staying true to 4 measure phrases with all these new ideas, but it's not really holding to the form of pop, of verse chorus. Here we have the guitars just going at it, and the rhythm guitar is harmonizing with the third above. After all that excitement, we reach something that would feel like that of a bridge. It's much calmer and not as active in the harmony. We have here a pedal on an A chord with suspensions in each measure. Up above, we have a B, which is the 9, going to 8, going to 7, going to 6. And further along, it even changes from A minor to A major, having that C sharp on the 3rd line. This is definitely not a verse chorus form. Taking the idea from what felt like a bridge and added more activity. It would feel like it's a faster tempo, but it has stayed the same. It just feels more energetic with the consecutive 8th notes that are going on in the rhythm guitar. We reach a conclusion of the piece where it tries to end 4 different times, as you will see with the score having 4 different endings. The endings are little snippets from previous ideas we've heard before. And a little side fact, this was dedicated to the band's beloved Pitbull, who passed away. As you listen to the whole thing, try and keep that in mind. The energetic feels and phrases, keep in your imagination an active, loving Pitbull. Now, what is the form for this piece? As established beforehand, this is not your basic verse chorus pop song form. I've laid out for you the big sections, the multitude of ideas that happen throughout. We have the first idea, A, that recurs throughout the piece. Then B, which is in minor. Then the A prime that was mentioned before with more activity going on. And then the new idea with the rhythm guitar having the melody. Then back to an identical A, which leads to D, where we mentioned the literal expansions. And then revisiting familiar ground with A prime and C. Following that, the change in key at E, as well as the bridge-like section of F. And then following that bridge idea, we have the F prime. Then concluding with the 4 different ideas of an outro, or coda, depending on how you look at it.